This third example involves roots, okay, surds. We've got a fourth root going on here, and these kinds of questions will invoke the rule that says you can change surds into fractional indices. And this kind of a question really highlights the power of those fractional indices. You don't actually have to be able to work out fourth roots or anything to simplify this thing here. Now, generally with these kinds of index laws, especially when I've got fractions going on in here, I always like to just simplify whatever's inside first and then might work my way out. So I am just going to leave this fourth root and the cubed out here, and I'm going to tidy up what's inside here. So I've got x squared divided by x cubed, and there's an index law that says I can subtract the powers in that case. So it's going to be x to the 2 minus 3 or x to the minus 1. And I'm going to write it as x to the minus 1 because I actually think it's going to be a bit tidier than doing 1 on x. Now my next rule that I can apply here is to get rid of this, I'll step back. I've simplified the middle as much as possible. So now I go to the next level, the fourth root, and the rule I'm going to use here is I'm going to change that fourth root into a fraction. So here's my x to the minus 1. I'm going to make that a power of 1/4. Okay. And when you do that, you can actually see that this is actually quite nice. I've got a power to a power to a power. This is just another case of that rule that says when I've got a power to a power, I can multiply them together. All right. So this is actually going to be the same as x to the power of minus 1 times 1/4 times 3. So I can just multiply those three together, and that will give me the simplest form. And I end up with x to the negative 3/4. Now, you can leave your answer like that unless the question asks you to not have any fractions or negatives in your indices. So that if they don't say anything, that's okay. Otherwise, you can simplify this further. The negative sign, the negative sign puts us on the bottom of a fraction. The 3 in the numerator becomes the power, and the 4 in the denominator becomes the root. So you can write it like that as well. I personally prefer that because it's nice and concise and compact in that power like that.